Today's lesson is on finding angle measurements. And so let's take a look at our first two problems, or from this first set of directions. It says to classify each pair of angles as complementary or supplementary. Now in the last lesson we talked about complementary angles and what they are. Well, complementary angles add to 90 degrees, so they equal 90 degrees. Two angles that add to make 90 are complementary. Angles that add to make 180 degrees are called supplementary angles. And so what we want to do is we want to find the missing angle that makes this supplementary. Supplementary because it's a straight line here. And so what I'm going to do to find this x is I know that this angle here, 122, plus this angle here of x add to make 180 degrees. So I would set up an equation like this. X plus 122 equals 180 degrees. And then all I'd have to do to solve is subtract the 122 from 180, and that would give me my answer. So there's a little bit of borrowing that is involved here. So this changes to a 7. We do the subtraction, we end up with 58 degrees. So 58 degrees is the angle x here. On this next one, these are complementary angles because of this little symbol right here means that they are 90 degrees. Both of these angles add up to 90 degrees. So we'll say 90 degrees equals x plus 35. And so from this point, all we have to do is move this 35 to the other side by subtracting it from both sides. And that would give me my answer. Again, we got to borrow a little bit, change this to an 8, so that becomes 55 degrees. Well, let's take a look at the next problem here. It says angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. Remember, vertical angles are when we make an x, and the two angles share what we call a vertex, or a corner, that make up the angle. And so it says angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. So let's say this is angle 1 here, and this one's angle 2. And so it says the measure of angle 1 is 48 degrees. So this one here equals 48 degrees. Well, what would angle 2 be is basically what they want to know. They want to know what the unknown measure is. Well, vertical angles are congruent. And so congruent means that they are equal. And so we have equal angles. So angle 1 equals angle 2. So if angle 1 is 48 degrees, that means that angle 2 is also 48 degrees. And so that would be our answer. Now the next one says angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary. So to draw a little picture about what that looks like is, we've got a straight line and then an angle. Here's angle 4, we'll say, and here's angle 3. And so if angle 4 measures 117 degrees, so this is 117 degrees here, what would angle 3 be? Well, we know they both add to make 180 degrees. So if we call angle 3 like x, or some sort of unknown, I would have x plus 117 equals 180 degrees. Well, from there, all I'd have to do is subtract the 117 from 180. And that would give me my value of x, or angle 3 in this case. So I borrow a little bit, change this to a 7, do the subtraction, and I end up with 63 degrees. So x, which is what angle 3 is 63 degrees. Well, this next one, looks like this got blotted out here. It looked like this was angle 7 here, and we were supposed to, and it says, so angle 7 and angle 8 are complementary angles. Angle 7 is 23, so let's draw a little picture about what this looks like. Complementary make a 90 degree angle. So this little symbol means it's a right angle, or 90 degrees. And so what we're going to do is take this 90 degree angle and divide it into two pieces. So these two angles, we'll call this one angle 7 and this one angle 8, they add up to make 90 degrees. Well, it tells us that angle 7 here equals 23 degrees. So what they want to know is what angle 8 is. We don't know what it is, but we know that angle 8, which I'm calling x, and angle 7, which is 23 degrees, add up to make 90 degrees. So from there, all I have to do is subtract that 23 from both sides. So we go ahead and do that, borrow a little bit, change this to an 8, do the subtraction, we end up with 67 degrees. That's what x is. And x represents angle 8. So angle 8 is 67 degrees. Well, here it says angle 5 and angle 6 are congruent angles. Congruent means equal, means they're exactly the same. And so if angle, here's a symbol for congruent too. Angle 5, it's an equal sign with a little squiggly line on top. And so angle 5 equals angle 6. Well, it says that angle 6 is equal to 12.5 degrees. Well, if angle 6 equals 12.5 degrees, then angle 5 would equal the same exact number because they are congruent. And so we'll say that angle 5 is 12.5 degrees. Next one is angle L and M are complementary. If angle L is 16 degrees, what is M? Well, it's the same thing as number 5. So complementary means a right angle, means 90 degrees. So complementary, again, you see that word complementary. Think of C comes before S in the alphabet. So complementary is 90, just as supplementary is 180. So complementary is the smaller of the two. So we'll say that L is this one here, angle L. This is angle M. And angle L, it says, is 16 degrees. They want to know what is M. Well, all we do is call M x here in this case. X plus 16 equals 90, because those two angles add together to make 90. So all we're going to do to solve is just do an opposite operation. I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. Do a little borrowing, and I'm left with 74 degrees is the value of x. And x represents angle M. So angle M is 74 degrees. Angle R and S are supplementary angles. So remember, supplementary makes 180 degrees. So we'll say this is angle R here, which is 78 degrees, it says. And angle S is over on this side. Well, we know that they add to make 180 degrees. So I'm going to call angle S x for now. So x plus 78 equals 180 degrees. So from there, all I'm going to do is subtract that 78 from both sides, and then do the subtraction. Leaves me with 102 degrees is the value of x, which again is angle S. So angle S is 102 degrees. Well, this next one says that if angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles, angle 3 and angle 2 are supplementary angles, what do we know about angle 1 and angle 3? And it says here, explain. And so we need to figure out what are those angles. And so the way we're going to end up doing that is, let's take a look at this first one here. Angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. So let me draw a picture here. Let's say this is angle 2, and this is angle 1. Supplementary means they add to make 180 degrees. So I know angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Well, if I was to draw a picture of the next one, remember this is angle 2 again, so angle 2 has to equal the same value. So there's angle 2, here's angle 3. Well, angle 3 plus angle 2 also equals 180 degrees because they're supplementary as well. Well, I know that angle 2 and this angle 2 and this angle 2 are exactly the same. These are the same the same degree, same number. Well, if those are the same number, and angle 1 plus this value equals 180, angle 3 plus this value equals 180, that means that these two have to be the same number as well. And so what do we know about angle 1 and angle 3? I know angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, is what I would say. And the reason is because both angle 1 plus angle 2, angle 3 plus angle 2, equal the same value of 180 degrees. Well, two angles are complementary, it says. One angle is 20 degrees smaller than the other angle. So let's go ahead and draw a little picture about what's going on here. Remember, complementary means 90 degrees. We know that one of the angles is 20 degrees less than the other. So it's like saying this. We don't know what either are, but we know they add to make 90. So if I call this one x, this one is 20 degrees less. So I'm going to say x 20 degrees less than x would be x minus 20. Well, I know that these two add together. This x, this angle here, plus this angle here of x minus 20 equal 90 degrees, because they both add to make 90. Well, if I wanted to solve this equation, I would have to do some opposite operations. So maybe add this 20 to both sides, and that would give me this x plus x. Now, what do you think 1x plus 1x is? Well, that would give me 2 x's. So 2x equals 110 degrees. Well, to find out what the value of x would be, I just divide by 2. And that would give me 55 degrees. So I know that this value is 55 degrees. Well, this other value would be 55 minus 20, which would give me 35 degrees. So I know that the smaller angle is 35, the larger angle is 55. And note that 55 plus 35, they add to make 90, so it does end up working out. So what are the measure of both angles? Well, one's 55 degrees, the other is 35 degrees. Those are the answers. So that was a kind of a challenging problem. Use some algebra to solve that. Well, those are the types of problems you'll see on tonight's homework. Good luck.